Hi. If you feel like your life is falling apart, for many people that's how it feels, listen to the words of Alexander Maclaren in this sermon that I'm going to read from, called A Better Possession, where he talks about what is of true value in our life. It's based on Hebrews 10 verse 34, which reads, knowing that ye yourselves have a better possession and an abiding one. So I'm only going to just read pieces of the sermon. Here I'm going to start with his quote of scripture where it says, whoever committeth sin is the slave of sin. And slaves belong not to themselves, but to their owners. We possess ourselves when we sacrifice ourselves. From a selfish point of view, it is a mistake to make self our aim and center. Who pleasure follows, pleasure slays, says the poet. The surest way to gratify and satisfy all that is good in myself is to put the satisfaction of self out of sight and to yield myself up to something higher and nobler. Whoever makes self the aim of his vision and of his effort thereby defeats his own end and ceases to possess himself. The poignant joys that thrill in a heart inflamed by enthusiasm for any great cause are nobler and rarer by far than any which are experienced on the low levels of self-indulgence. The secret of self-possession and of happiness is self-oblivion. If we give ourselves to Him, He gives us back to ourselves, calmed, hallowed, ennobled. The altar sacrifices the gift, which returns to the giver with new fragrance and worth. What a man possesses in outward fashion is not possessed in any real sense, and it would often be truer to say that it possesses its so-called owner than that he possesses it. But even when outward possessions do not become tyrants, it is still true that whatever lies outside of us is less precious than what we have within. Love is more than money. Peace is better than plenty. A quiet heart is better than full coffers. Inward wealth is the true wealth, and nothing will really enrich us but having the life in our spirits which is given through faith in Jesus Christ, and makes a man Lord of himself, if not of lands. If we have the durable riches in the possession of our own selves, we can afford to look, and we shall look, with comparatively quiet hearts on the going of all that can go, and be able to bear losses and sorrows, and all the ills that flesh is heir to, in an altogether different fashion from what we should do if we could not fall back upon the wealth within, and feel that nothing can touch that. If we rightly understood the mission of loss, pain, or sorrow, and that each was intended to make us possess more fully the only true riches, and each was meant to make us better, more masters of ourselves, and enriched by such possessions, we should not so often murmur or faint when the blows come, nor be so ready to exclaim, "Oh, the mysteries of providence," but rather be quick to say, "All things work together for good to them that love God." For if my loss of outward things makes me gain in patience, in refinement, in fixed faith in Jesus Christ, in quiet submission to Him, then I enter the item on the wrong page if I put it under the losses side of the book. I should put it on the profits side. For it profits a man more to gain himself than to gain or keep the whole world. So the right understanding of what our wealth is, and the right understanding of the relation of sorrow and pain and loss to the true wealth in ourselves, makes us take not only patiently but joyfully all possible disaster and loss. Years ago, when I left the Jehovah's Witnesses religion, I felt like I was losing everything. But in reality, I was in the process of gaining everything. I'm going to link to 2 videos from my series on C.S. Lewis's book, Mere Christianity. That was one of the first books, Christian books, that I read after leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses. It really helped me a lot. So these are the final 2 videos from that series. The first one is called Ebenezer Scrooge, Good Eggs and Be Perfect. God's plan much grander than Jehovah's Witnesses. And the second video is Why do we former Jehovah's Witnesses hesitate to commit to Christ? And it's Lewis talking about losing ourselves. So I thought his comments tie in well with what we just read from Alexander Maclaren. Thank you for listening.